Sonnet 120. The 5 stages, last word, rhyming couplet. But that your trespass now becomes a fee. Mine ransoms yours, and yours must ransom me. If you being here is something I've got to pay for, well, if I've got to pay for you, you've got to pay for me. Something like this. Last words. Now feel bow steel, or bow. Now feel bow steel, so bow, we've had that before. Shaken steel, hammered steel, so the metal of something. Shaken time, taken crime, so shaken, it's an interesting one. Crime, some problem, obviously some love thing. Remembered hits, tended fits. Hits and fits, that's an unusual one to have as it's very simple words, but I've not heard him use the hits, fits thing before. Fee me. Okay, break it into the 4 sections. That's a line under every 4th line to create quatrains. So under the steel, the line ending in steel, the line ending in crime, the line ending in fits, and that becomes a bit like that. And I'm using the MIT version, and it's got a bit wet, and so it's falling apart a bit, but let's see if I can still read it. Now the next thing, the breaths, so / mark it at the start and the end, definite breaths. Then the sentence endings, which is full stop, exclamation mark, question mark. Usually at the end of the quatrains. Yeah, at the end of one, after steel, after crime, after fits. Okay, then an even sonnet is a breath every other line. So what punctuation do we have after line 2? Now the next biggest punctuation is the colon, semicolon. What do we get? We don't have anything. In fact, we've got a comma at line 3. Let's come back to that one. We've got a comma at time, line 6, mark it in. At hits, mark it in. And we do have a semicolon at fee, but let's do the rhyming couplet on the one breath. Let's just see where the breath is in quatrain 1, whether it's line 2, even, or line 3, uneven, but that's where the punctuation is. But let's see. That you were once unkind befriends me now. And that for sorrow which I then did feel needs must under transgression bow, unless my nerves were brass or hammered steel. I mean, we could do 3 breaths, there's a comma at now, or we could breathe it now and then go straight through. That you were once unkind befriends me now. And for that sorrow which I then did feel needs must I under my transgression bow, unless my nerves, I think there's a comma missing from feel. I'm going to stick it at feel. It just feels right. Okay, so that's the breaths marked. Now this is yours, the break within the line. That you were once unkind befriends me now. So after unkind is the break. That you were once unkind befriends me now. And for that sorrow which I then did feel, and for that sorrow, this is your, which I then did feel, needs must I under my transgression bow, needs must I under my transgression bow, unless my nerves were brass or hammer steel, after nerves. So that's the first one. I'll do the others. Okay, I've marked them all out. There's some that I'm not 100% on, but we will see. So let's have a read. That you were once unkind befriends me now, and for that sorrow which I then did feel, needs must I under my transgression bow, unless my nerves were brass or hammered steel. Okay. The fact that you were once horrible to me is interesting now. For that sorrow which I then did feel, for the problem I had then, needs must under my transgression bow. It's somehow strengthened me, this problem I had with you. For if you were by my unkindness shaken and I by yours, you've passed a hell of time. And I, a tyrant, have no leisure taken to weigh how once I suffered in your crime. So we've both upset each other. Oh, that our night of woe might have remembered my deepest sense, how hard true sorrow hits. And soon to you, as you to me, have tended the humble slave which wounded bosoms fits. That our night of woe might have remembered my deepest sense. Oh, how hard true sorrow. So these problems we've given each other have maybe made us stronger, or do we remember them? And soon to you as you to me that tended the humble slave, and I've done the same thing to you. You've hurt me, I've hurt you. Something like this. But that your trespass now becomes a fee. Mine ransomed yours, and yours must ransom me. So maybe it's to do with if the problems I've given you have actually strengthened me in somewhat, or if I've had to pay for the problems, then you'll have to pay for the problems I've given you. Anyway, that we're all equal in the end. Something like this. That you were once unkind befriends me now, and for that sorrow which I then did feel, needs must I under my transgression bow, unless my nerves were brass or hammered steel. For if you were by my unkindness shaken, and I by yours, you've passed a hell of time, and I as tyrant have no leisure taken to weigh out wants I suffered in your crime. That our night of woe might have remembered my deepest sense, how hard true sorrow hits, and soon to you, as you to me, that tended the humble slave which wounded bosom fits. But that your trespass now becomes a fee, mine ransoms yours, and yours must ransom me. So, something to do with the problems we've given each other. We both have to repay each other for the problems we've given each other. So that might, but that's your trespass. But that the thing you've done wrong now becomes a fee. I have to pay for yours, you have to pay for mine. It's something like this. Are you convinced? I'm almost convinced.